Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom, good morning. Sorry, I'm holding a new iPad with my other hand, and I realized that I've got to get a stand or something. This is not going to work the way I'd hoped.
Or a table or something.
But look how clear that picture is. That is a brutally clear picture. So, you got to take the good with the bad. And I need to trim the beard because the gray hairs are coming in. And I try.
Or you got to hold the camera up.
Yeah, I could do. There you go. But then you see a wood pile behind me, and then you ask the big question: if woodchuck could chuck wood, would woodchuck chuck wood, or what? However that goes. Way too early on Monday for that. But let me tell you, Tom. Guess what today is?
Woodchuck Day?
Nope. It is National All or Nothing Day, which I think is pretty good. All or nothing, because as renegades, you and I both know when it's all, you get stuff done and it falls into place over time, or the nothing side where you just wait for it to come around. Same thing as we talk about branding, like we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. If you wait for people to figure out what your brand is, not quite the thing as when you figure out all aspects of it. What color shirt, what colors you want, what the logo should look like, what the branding statement should be, and how to communicate that to people. How is that for a segue?
Interesting. All or not. I'm still trying to figure out all or nothing. How does that become a day?
Well, as we found out last week, there is actually a system to get here. You have to show that you actually have had this day, that it's got some media coverage, so you can't just fake it.
Well, what media coverage could you have around all or nothing?
I didn't investigate, Tom.
Still, this thing is, I'm starting to have some serious doubts about this whole process.
You lost it when we had Gorgeous Grandma's Day. That's when you crossed the line.
Yeah, I wasn't buying that. And although grandma's is fine, I just don't know why we needed the adjective.
Well, I'll give you a better one. As an uncle of 23 nieces and nephews, today is National Uncles and Aunts Day, or Aunts and Uncles Day. I think it's Aunts and Uncles Day.
It's both?
Yes, it's both.
How many can you celebrate in a day?
If you know any of my nieces and nephews, please tell them to send Uncle Bob a text that says something pithy. It's not going to happen. You never know. I've been surprised before, but what I will do by 6 p.m. tonight is send them a text that says, "Hey, by the way, it's National Aunt and Uncle's Day. Where are my cookies? Where's my ice cream?" And they'll all feel really guilty.
Well, you could also tell them that it is also all. Well, they might say, "Well, Uncle Bob, it was all or nothing day as well."
We went with nothing.
We chose nothing. How do you put those two together? I am questioning the whole. I'm getting to be with Tim that you're making some of this stuff up.
No, I'll show you the list each morning.
No, it's okay. It's all right. I'll go along with you. I trust you. I'm not sure I trust this system, but
all right, my arm's getting tired, so we got to keep going.
Okay. Well, good morning.
It's about me.
Are you just realizing that?
Try and make it about you a little bit.
I'm all right with that. I'm good. I haven't complained.
All right.
So good morning, everyone. Welcome. We are going to talk about a topic today. This is today's antidote. And around that topic, we hope that if you have thoughts or ideas, you will share them in the comments, because we know that will help others and help our conversation. And at the end, Bob and I will share our one thing around the topic of the day. And if you have something you'd like to share, what your one thing is, please feel free to as well in the comments, or you can go to the Ring of Renegades Facebook group and share it there. So as Bob mentioned,
a bug went in my ear. That's exact. Oh, a little bug just went in my ear. Did you see it?
No, I was focused on.
I saw it flying.
Launching
around.
The show.
I saw it flying around. I'm like, please don't go in my ear. It went in my ear. Oh, you ever get a bug in your ear?
I guess. I don't know. It hasn't been that memorable that I remember it. So
Okay.
you will clearly remember this bug in your ear for.
And the scores of people watching this with us at will.
Well, there's also a saying about a bug in your ear, right? Maybe the bug in your ear is telling you, hey, let's get focused and get this done.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they're saying, hey, you know what? Let's keep talking about aunts and uncles day.
I could talk all day about aunts and uncles.
All right. Anyhow, so all month we have been talking about branding. We talked a little bit about what it, just basically branding. And we talked about your personal brand and your professional brand. So this week we're going to talk about sharing it and just all the things about sharing your brand. And today that we're going to start with, what does that mean to share your brand? There are plenty of ways to share your brand. And do you want to start off, Bob, with some of your thoughts about what it means to share your brand?
Yes. I'm going to not get into specific ways of sharing it, but talk about the bigger picture, which is, and I know I've used this word consistently over the last 3 weeks, and that is consistently sharing the brand. So it should be.
Use the word consistently.
I know. If you, if I see you at a networking event Monday morning, and I see you at a networking event Thursday afternoon, it should be similar. That's really important. The consistency of the brand. Now, that's not to say you can't change it as you go, but I think all too often we change it like every time we talk. Like, we just have this, oh, I came up with these words. Or I've been at networking events where someone says something that's like, oh, I'm a real estate agent and I help people find their ideal home. And the next person goes, I'm a real estate agent and I help people ideal home. That's I'm a real estate agent. I do this, and they just one up each other. And the unfortunate thing for me as the person listening to that at a networking event is, if there are 5 people that do real estate, I want to understand, do they focus on certain areas? Do they focus on certain economics? Do they deal with first-time home buyers? Do they deal with people who are downsizing? Those are very specific branding statements that if you said to me, hey, I'm a real estate agent that deals with downsizing, that would open my eyes to, I got 3 or 4 people for you to talk to. And then if you said I deal with first-time home buyers, like, well, I've got nieces and nephews who are, they're getting to that home buying age. Perhaps you might want to talk to them. So being clear, and, the old saying is niche down. And I know the concern is if you niche down, get more specific, what about all those other people that do other things? But as you and I have found with this, and most of what we do together and separately, the more you can be clear exactly who you're going after, the higher the probability of actually getting them to pay attention.
Sure. Well, you're finding out what they have in common. What do all those people have in common, which may or may not be buying a house, may be something else, and that is really what you're figuring out, is that you like to deal with this certain type of challenge, and that in some ways is niching down. That may or may not just be focused on what you thought was your original client. And I think that as we think about what it means to share our brand, I think that's probably one of the most challenging aspects of branding. I mean, there's a lot of challenging aspects to branding, and I think that's why we've spent a month on it. But figuring out where to share it, how to share it. There are so many avenues that you can do that, and trying to figure out, just like you try to figure out what's the message, try to figure out where am I going to put it and how am I going to share it. And is it going to be video? Is it going to be images? Is it going to be text? Is it going to be a press release? There's a million different ways. And I think part of the challenge is, how do you figure out what it means to share your brand and where to share it? I think those are just really difficult things for people to figure out it as just as much as messaging.
Well, part of it is I don't think people are tracking it to know,
Sure.
Oh, I did a Facebook ad over the weekend. Oh, really? How many clicks did you get? How many impressions did you get? And they go, I don't really know. Or I've I've gone when I was doing websites, I'd go to people's Google Analytics and decipher those for them. And they'd be amazed. They'd be like, I had no idea. One guy was like, I get 300 visitors a day. We went and looked, 99% of them were from China. He was a caterer in the Baltimore, Washington area. I said, when was the last time you catered to China? He's like, what? I said, look at these numbers. So he was all excited about the 3,000 people clicking every month,
Right.
but they weren't potential customers. And I think that's one of the things we have to look at is, are you in front of your potential customers? Because if you hand out 80 business cards today, but no one's a potential customer, have you handed out 80 business cards today? Or have you just given away 80 business cards that have no bearing, and the person's going to put it in the trash can, have it dry cleaned, run it through the washer, throw it in the pile with all the other business cards, never to be dealt with? And I think those are the questions we have to explore when we're looking at our brand. Who am I trying to reach, and how can I get in front of those people as quickly and as consistently as possible?
I want to share a comment, which I think is a really good one. And
yeah, I can't see them, so
that's why I'm going to share it.
Nice.
But I can't tell who it is. It just says Facebook user, which I think is really good. I wonder if we confuse our brand with our position in a category. And then they follow it up to say, if your brand is rooted in values, then being authentic is sharing your brand. Reach and frequency are marketing issues. Yes. So those are two. Let's go back to the first one. Sorry, I jumped ahead. I wonder if we confuse our brand with our position in a category. It's an interesting, it really goes back to what's the definition of your brand? Is it the way you put your information out, or the people that you deal with within a industry? What do you think about that?
Well, I guess, I'm sitting here going, boy, I hate sometimes this program where I learn something and I look stupid for the first 5 minutes. And today's one of those times. I think this is absolutely right. The brand is what you want to say. The messaging is where and how you say it. Right?
I don't know. I mean, the brand.
And there's certainly a byplay between the two. They are really closely tied, but until I know what I'm trying to say and who I'm trying to say it to, I can't say it to those people.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a very thin line between the two, and one leads to the next. I feel like, and I'm not sure which one comes first. You have your, like, one thing of your brand could be, I'll go to the very simplistic personal brand for me, although I'm not doing it today. Typically, I always button my top collar,
right?
Even on polo shirts. That is almost a brand, right? The fact that how you wear your hair, or, that you always, there's a woman that used to network a lot with that always wore hats, and she was kind of known as the hat lady. And I think that was a part of brand. McDonald's, you walk in and the uniforms are the same. And you kind of know, like, okay, who are the workers and who are the managers, because their uniforms are different. And that the brand of the M is well known. So that's part of the brand. The question then is, where does positioning the category fit, or the messaging? Is messaging as well a part of the brand? Or is, the positioning the category about who you're trying to reach? McDonald's is trying to reach people who want fast food.
I think I see these all as a ring. A circle with little things at each point, and they have arrows to each other.
Is that what a ring is? Wow.
No,
is that what a ring is? I think yeah.
No, I think, but they have arrows back and forth.
Okay.
Because the messaging could lead to a change in the brand. If you're out there and you're saying, hey, I'm Bob and I'm the best accountant in the world, and no one's paying attention. If someone says, hey, are you a small business accountant? Oh, yes, I am. And I say, I'm Bob and I'm a small business accountant. And suddenly people start coming up to me. that's going to change that branding. It might also change my positioning within that category. I may focus solely on small businesses or something else, right?
Sure.
Can you hear that?
Yeah. What was that?
I don't even want to know.
Yeah. Interesting. Uh,
Yes.
well, I think
At least it's not the grass being cut.
no. Well, there's that.
There is
Um,
that. That's why I've abandoned my house today to avoid that pain.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think it's an interesting, if we'd probably have to go back to the definition of brand and what does it include? And then within that, I almost think that, if I was trying to take a shot at this, your position in a category helps you create, well, I don't know, I go back and forth. I was going to say helps you create your brand, yet in some ways your brand, what you have determined is your brand can help people better understand the position in the category. And, so I think your idea of a ring makes a lot of sense, is that they're kind of one follows the other. And sometimes it's hard to tell which comes first or which is the one that's trailing. It's a
Well, and to make it more complicated, Tom, I think sometimes it falls into our lap and we often don't even realize it. That it's like, oh, wow, someone else says to us, hey, you've been doing like this with a lot of people, or with you. When I said to you, hey, the stuff you're doing with nonprofits, it's the same stuff we're doing with for-profits. And you're like, wow, really? I didn't. So then your branding shifted to say, hey, I have a broader appeal than I realized. And I think the key to that is sometimes we need that other person to help us understand it, because we're so close to it and we're not able to step back and see those different parts of the ring. We're in the center of that ring just trying to get words out and
sure, figure it out.
not really see it. So I think, it's one of the things you and I deal with a lot of people in the Renegade Success Network. Who are they trying to appeal to? What are they trying to say to those people? And how do they get in front of those people? That's like, usually that's one of the bigger things that we work on. And that sets into motion a lot of other things.
Sure. Well, I think it also is how we view what our brand is and how others look at us. Everyone else is looking at us with a different eye, unique eye. And
Yep.
the way they are seeing, they would define our brand might be very different than how someone else, if you go into McDonald's, just to keep using that, if you're the parent of a small child, and they have one of those playgrounds, you're like, what I love about this is it's great for families because
I don't think they're doing that anymore.
well, that's true.
I think that jig's up, dude.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So that's not the case anymore.
Can you imagine wiping that down after every snot-nosed little kid?
Yeah, that would not be fun. That'd be a bad job. So let's say, but all right. So either way, so now this is a way for me to get something quick and easy. I can even drive through so that I don't have to take my baby out of the car seat. We get something, they're good to go. They're also, we used to notice, again, I haven't been in enough of them to know, but McDonald's to me used to be like the coffee shop for older people. Like they would go and get their coffee at night and sit there, and it was almost like the bookstore before bookstores really got into that model. And so I think each of them would look at McDonald's in a different light. And so both position and category and brand would be unique based on the person who is looking at it, as well as whatever McDonald's is thinking that they're trying to put out into the world.
What's your one thing, Tom?
Wow, it's so funny because my one thing was going to be about there's so many places to share your brand. Figuring it out is a real challenge, and so sometimes you need to take a step back and get help to see not only what you see as your brand, but to also understand what do others see as your brand, and based on that would help you determine where you should share it. So I think I'm still going to go with that. Although this whole idea of, what is your position in your category and your brand, and what does brand truly mean? I'm still struggling with that.
Yeah, I want to come back to that later this week. I want to have a night to think about that. But I think that's where we should start our discussion tomorrow. And I like your one thing. I wouldn't change a word of it. I think that's a really good place to start, but I think we have to think through the idea of branding, messaging, and category.
How crazy is it that we've been talking about this for a month? And we're back to, like defining what is your brand in some regards.
That's why it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah, I would agree.
We are proving exactly why you can't just, hit the button and make this work.
And here's another comment that I guess this is from Peter, but he just says, if your brand is rooted in values, then being authentic is sharing your brand. Reach and frequency are marketing issues. I think there's how you define each of those could be different.
Yeah, and I'm struggling with the idea of your brand is rooted in values, then being authentic is sharing your brand. I agree with that, but I'm not sure everyone thinks about their brand being authentic. And if you have 5,000 employees, it's going to be awfully hard for that brand to be authentic because you got 5,000 people who have their own self-interest.
Right. Yeah. There's no doubt.
The big company. That's why McDonald's has everyone wear the same shirts, because then at least there's some consistency, because someone might be really funny. I've been at McDonald's and there's a person who's like the ringleader for the coffee club, and someone else is the manager who makes sure that the drive-thru runs efficiently. They're both wearing the same uniform, but their personalities do come into play. Just like you and I have different personalities. We work together with the Renegade Success Network and with these broadcasts, but you and I are very different in a lot of ways, but we have a common thread. We both believe in certain things.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I would agree.
Ready to ride this train home? You've got to go off and do your family Uber work, right?
Yes, I do. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks for your comments, Peter and Tim. Again, as people will see, not only do they help enhance our conversation, sometimes they throw us for a loop, and then we get stuck and have to try to figure out where we're at all over again. So,
in a good way.
In a very good way. No, I think it changes our perspective, because we only know what's real for us. And so when others share what's real for them, it makes a difference in how we look at things, what our knowledge, experience, and perspective now is. So thank you for doing that. And I hope that people will continue to share, whether you're watching this live or you are watching it recorded. Please feel free to share your comments or your one thing in the comments below. Also, if you're not yet a member of our Ring of Renegades Facebook group, you should join. It's a great place to be. We are helping people, business leaders, owners, entrepreneurs, those who want to figure out their next step along their own unique pathway to success. It's easy to do. Just go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades, and then you can ask to join. It is
wait, Tom, wait. I just want to know, tell me one really important distinction about our group versus a lot of other groups. Is there anything about that group that you want to make sure we all understand?
Besides the fact that it's a private group?
No, there it is. I've decided that my mission in life is each day to find a way to make that interesting.
Good mission. Interesting mission. I like that. I think. I'm not sure that that's going to serve the greater purpose of the world, but if that's what you want your mission to be, so be it.
It beats the other missions I have today. Trust me.
All right. Good to know. All right. So as I mentioned, it is a private group, but all you have to do is ask to join and then tell us why you're a renegade. And you can become a part of this growing community where we are helping one another figure out how to take those next steps. So we hope that we will see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, or we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of today's Antidote. If you are struggling, like we were today, discussing branding and how to share it and what the difference between branding and your position in your industry is, the Renegade Success Network is the place for you to go, where we are helping people figure out those challenges, identifying the things that are holding them back and allowing them to figure out how to take their next step. It's a great place for you to help grow who and what you are and what you're trying to accomplish, so that you can achieve the success that you want along your own unique pathway. So here's some further information about the Renegade Success Network. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Boop, boop, boop.
I let you get it in there that time.
You did. Catching on.
Are you struggling to make your vision a reality? Are you stuck and don't know what to do next? Are fear and doubt holding you back? The Renegade Success Network will help you determine the next steps on your pathway. Here is some of what you will get. Create your pathway call to start you on a better path. Unlimited laser solution sessions to keep you from getting stuck. Nurture your network events to build your network with other successful leaders. Monthly Renegade challenges to prepare you for what lies ahead. The Renegade Success Vault, giving you access to videos, tools, and tips on specific topics anytime you need them. And the Renegade Success Network community, an exclusive Facebook group of like-minded renegades, all working towards achieving their goals. You have a choice. Do it yourself and fumble forward slowly and alone. Or join Renegade Success Network and be part of a community built to help you find your own pathway. Join today at renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Act now and jumpstart your journey on your own pathway to success.